Okay, well, thank you everyone for joining on the call tonight. We appreciate your support of the Lupus Foundation and the Walk to End Lupus Now. My name is Monica Smith. I'm the Director of Development for the Northeast region of the Lupus Foundation of America, and I am so pleased that Nicole Padilla from the Los Angeles and Orange County Walks, she's our walk manager out in Southern California, is joining tonight as the co-host. So we are really thrilled to do this presentation. We appreciate your support, and as we go along, we're going to have some team captains joining on the call and sharing their experiences as well. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Nicole.
Hello, everybody. Good evening, and thank you again for joining us. As Monica mentioned, my name is Nicole Padilla, and I am the walk manager for the Southern California area, and I'm very excited to be on the call tonight. So our first step is getting the facts. So before you get started with your fundraising and you're getting your team together, there's a few things that you should know and do to get ready to recruit and motivate others. So first, you should know that you are participating in the world's largest lupus walk, spanning across nearly 60 major markets. And the Lupus Walk's focus and goal is to raise money for lupus research, increase awareness, and rally public support for those who are suffering from its impact. And this is a good story to know, because then you're going to take that story and use it to motivate others, but you need to get yourself registered for your event first. So you will go to your community's walk page and register yourself and your team, and lead by example. Show your commitment by getting everything ready to go, your fundraising page, your team page, and then also get yourself familiar with the registration process, the fundraising dashboard tools, so that way you can assist others that decide to join your team or make donations. You'll also want to get familiar with the incentive program. This is a great way to motivate your team members. And keep in mind that all prizes and incentive levels may vary by chapter and walk. So make sure that you check with your chapter staff or your walk manager at your walk to see what those levels and fundraising prizes are. But in general, your personal fundraising, every walker who raises a minimum of $100 will receive the event T-shirt. And then every walker that raises $1,000 or more will also receive the medal. And those are pretty big badges of honor to have the day of the walk. So highly encourage your team members to strive for those goals and to be able to spread their stuff on the course and have those there as their badges of honor. There's also additional incentive prizes, and like I said, those vary by location, and check with your staff or your walk manager to see a list of those. There's also team incentives. And this is a great way to motivate your team to get to another level. So every $1,000 or more, the team will receive a custom top team sign. That is huge to be able to show off at the walk and show that you are a top team for that event. And then this also varies, $5,000 or more. Your team will receive a meeting space, and that usually consists of table, chairs, canopy, meeting area. Again, that does vary, so make sure that you're checking with your staff and walk manager to see what those great prizes are, and spread the word to your team members to get them excited. Monica, I think you're up next.
Great. Well, the next section is really about getting personal. So the walk is a personal journey for everyone. You really want to think about why you're participating in the walk and why you want to be out there. Why are you supporting the Lupus Foundation? And the first thing you can do as a team captain is to choose a meaningful name. So we have a little fun word cloud here of some of our great team names, and all of our team captains are so creative. We have The Cure, we have Loopies, we have Team Michael, Team Megan. But pick something that means something to you. So whether you're walking because you have lupus, or you have a loved one who has lupus, or if you lost someone to lupus and you really want to fund research that's going to make a difference in someone else's life, pick something meaningful and fun. Your team will rally around it. This is also a great opportunity if you're representing an organization or your company to have some company unity. And share your story. So this is a great team page from Pam Selman in the Chicago Walk, and she really puts it out there. She talks about her father's fight with lupus. She named her team Phil's Fighters. She's thanked everybody for their past support, and she really talks about her goal. You know, she wants to be a trailblazer, and she wants to raise at least $100,000 this year. And but her initial goal is $2,000. So she's really asking for people to come and support her. And there are actually studies that show that if you personalize your page, you're likely to get many more donations than if you don't personalize at all. So this is really the first step once you register, is to put out whatever your story is. Also set goals. You may say, well, you know, personal stories and goal setting, is that really the same thing? And it is. It's really important to personalize your goal. How many people do you think you can bring out to the walk? How much money do you want to raise personally, and how much can you raise as a team? And if you've done the walk before, I would suggest setting a stretch goal of increasing your participation and your fundraising by at least 10%. The most important thing is to make your goal known to friends and family. They want to see you succeed. They're going to be more likely to give. And I would also note that when you're setting goals, monitor these goals and change them often. So, you know, if you reached your $1,000 milestone, bump it up to $2,000 or bump it up to $1,500. If your goal was to recruit 10 people, move it up to 20, and keep telling all of your team members that your goals have changed, so they'll help you raise more and more and bring in more people. More people equals more awareness. More money equals more critical funds to support our mission. So we're going to have a little task right now, and we're going to take a minute, and we're going to ask you to write it down. So why are you walking? The act of putting pen to paper is really important when you're talking about the walk. So write down why you're walking. It'll be more meaningful to you. And write down your goals. How many people can you recruit? What's your personal fundraising goal? And what is your team goal? So, you know, start to think about that, and I'm going to switch it over to Nicole, who's going to talk about our next number, the Art of the Ask.
Thanks so much, Monica. So the Art of the Ask, well, there are a variety of ways that you can accumulate donations and different ways that you can make asks. So on our next slide here, we have a list of some of those ways, and I'm just going to highlight a few of them. Monica, can you change the next slide, please? There we go. All right. The first one is actually self-donation, and I think that is really important because, like I had said before with registration, you want to lead by example, and making a self-donation to your personal fundraising page is a great way to show your commitment to not just your team members, but to those that are making donations to you. And it just, you know, I think it just kind of gives you also that get up and go, like, hey, we're ready to go. I've already started my initial fundraising. So it gives you a little boost of energy there. I really like the corporate matching gifts as well. This is a great way to get your employers involved with your fundraising. Many employers will match any donations that are received through your fundraising efforts with the walk. All you have to do is ask. You just have to give them, there's usually like a form that you have to fill out. Sometimes it's online. But if your employer doesn't do a matching gift or have a matching gift program, maybe you can ask them. Maybe it's something that's never been brought up or they haven't been asked about. So you might be starting something new there. The personal matching gifts. I like this as well because it kind of gives your fundraising a little bit of a boost. So you can pick like Fundraising Friday and say, today, you know, on your personal social media pages, say, today I'm going to do Fundraising Friday. And anybody that makes a donation to my fundraising efforts, I'll match up to $200, for example. And so that will really get people like, oh, today's the day she's going to make a match. So if I make a donation, that she's going to boost it up with an additional match. So it might be a fun way to challenge people to make donations to your page, and also a good way to get them excited about fundraising. Fundraising events. These are really exciting and fun ways to have, to not just have a fundraiser, but to also bring awareness to what it is that you are doing and participating in. A lot of times people make donations and don't understand what you're doing or why you're doing it. this is a great way to get them involved. And you can have a personal fundraising event, like maybe a spaghetti dinner at your home, or you can do one with your team, maybe a Super Bowl party where you invite people to come over and you charge an entry fee. So get excited about fundraising and making the ask. So making the ask is always kind of scary to people. People are always like, oh my gosh, what do I say? How do I ask? What do I do? And most importantly, what do I do if they say no? And people are always really scared. So what's the most effective way to raise money and recruit team members? Asking them. If you don't ask, they can't say yes, right? So it's automatically a no. So you want to make sure that, first of all, you are asking. And then second, you want to be prepared. So what are you asking for? What's your story? So, are you asking them to be a part of your fundraising team and fundraise with you? Are you asking them to sponsor you or your team? Are you asking them to be a part of the event and volunteer? So know what it is that you're going in for and what you're going to be asking, and then be prepared and have options. I'm sorry, Nicole, I can't make that donation. We're just not prepared to do that right now. Okay, thank you, Joe from Joe's Crab Shack. Maybe you would be willing to get your employees involved with the walk. Maybe they come out and volunteer. Is that something you can do? Or can I leave these flyers here for you so that you can participate? Or how about a fundraiser night? Does your restaurant do that? So have options available. And then don't be afraid, because the worst thing they can say is no, and it's not personal. It just means no, not right now. It doesn't mean, no, Monica, I'm not going to make a donation to you. It's just maybe not doable right now. And then the last part of your ask is making sure that you say thank you. Whether they say yes or no, make a donation, become a volunteer, or don't participate at all, you want to make sure that you're thanking them for their time and for listening to what you have to ask them. And just, a simple thank you goes a really long way. And so maybe if they can't do it this time around, they'll be able to do it next time. So I want to check with Monica, because we have a team captain that's set up to speak with us. Is Jessica on the line?
Jessica is running just a touch late, so she'll be joining us later for the discussion on teamwork.
Okay, great. So Jessica's going to share her teamwork story with us, as opposed to her ideas on making the ask. So just to end this up, we have a little poll for you. So does asking people for money intimidate you? And you can answer that in the chat box there on the side of the screen. We'd love to hear your feedback about that. Majority of the people say yes, but one great comment that we had in the last Power Hour was that the more that they asked, the more comfortable and easier it got for them. So again, don't be afraid to ask. And again, if you don't ask, they won't be able to say yes. So, Monica?
Great. Well, our next item is communicate to motivate. So communication is really important when it comes to talking about the walk and talking up your team. So, there's so many ways that we communicate now, whether it's social media or email. The personal contact is really important for the walk. And I would say that you really have to know your audience. If you know that your Uncle Joe will only answer to a phone call, then you got to pick up the phone and call Uncle Joe and say, hey, I'm doing this great walk and I want you to come out and join me. If, Mary Sue is somebody who responds so quickly to an email, and, that's the best communication for her because that link is right there and she'll donate right away, send that communication to Mary Sue. And I would say never forget the power of snail mail. When somebody writes a handwritten note to you in the mail and your name and address is printed, you're more likely to open that piece of mail. Even if you take a walk flyer that you've downloaded from our website, you just put a note, hey, Joe, I hope you'll join me at the walk. It just has that personal touch for people. And I would also say don't forget about personally asking somebody. You know, when you run into somebody at the supermarket and, you know, you haven't seen them in a long time, to say, hey, you know, I'm getting this walk team together. You know, it's for the Lupus Foundation. I really hope you'll come out and join me. It's much harder to say no to somebody face to face or even on the phone than it is to email or to a personal note. So we have set up some great tools for you, and the best is our fundraising center. So once you register for the walk, you will have access to track your progress. You will see who's donated to your team. You'll see who's joined your team. And there are emails that are ready to go right here in this email center. So you can see we have thank you to your donor emails. We have recruit a team member. We have ask for a donation. We have a team message. So you can edit in here. You can make it personal. Again, always personal. The more you personalize any communication, the more likely you are to get a response. So this is a great hub for managing your walk team. This is also where you can update your personal page and your team page, as we discussed in the Getting Personal section of the presentation. And get social. We have some great icons that you can put on any of your social media, whether it's your LinkedIn, your Facebook, your Twitter account, Instagram. They're right on our website at walktoendlupusnow.org, and you can download them. What I would also say about sharing on social media is while you want to share on your own social media, you also want to engage somebody in your life who what we call as an influencer. So anyone you know who, you know, has a huge social media following and has a big reach, if you ask them to share your walk link on their page, that's a simple way that they can help further your team and talk more about the walk. So this is certainly a workshop, and we like to have a lot of tasks. So here's another one for you. Get the word out. Write down all of your personal and professional communication channels. And, you know, there's the easy ones to think of, you know, email, Facebook, Instagram, but, you know, maybe there's a church bulletin. Maybe there's a newsletter within your school. Maybe there's an intranet at your office. So what are some of those out-of-the-box communication channels that you can have access to? So you can write it down now, or you can think about this and put down this as your task for later in preparation for your team. Okay, so with that, we're going to move on to Go Mobile. Nicole has some exciting news for us.
Yes, thank you so much, Monica. I am super excited about this. I don't know about you, but I am the type of person that is always on the go and always has my phone in my hand. So guess what, everybody? We're moving on up. We now are piloting a new fundraising app to complement our website and our participant fundraising center. Again, check with your local chapter or your walk manager to see if it's available for your walk. But after you register online, you will be able to access your personal fundraising page from your smartphone or tablet. From here, you see this screenshot here of our app. And you'll be able to send messages. You can post to social media. So you can do things like, you know, follow up with somebody, send a thank you, send a little message like, hey, you know, please support me for the walk. And best of all, you can keep track of your fundraising totals all while you're on the go. So this is a really great app. We're super excited about it, and it's so much fun. So you can download it from iTunes or Google Play Store, and it's also available through your Facebook fundraising. So get on it, get mobile. It's going to be so much fun. Really excited about this one. So we want to know, we're excited. Are you excited? Are you going to be using this? We're going to take a poll. Go ahead and type in your comments. Will you be using the mobile phone or tablet to track your walk effort? Go ahead and start chatting it up on the side there. We'd love to see those comments. And I think that, Monica, you are up next.
And thank you so much. This is an exciting one. We're going to talk about teamwork because we are all, you know, one big team, and we can't go it alone. We really need help when we're talking about our walk team. We need help recruiting. We need help, you know, sort of rallying the troops. So we always say there's strength in numbers. And my best piece of advice is to enlist the help of one or more talented co-captains. So we have a couple of personality types that you might want to think about, and I know I have all of these people in my world, but the first is Chatty Cathy. So who is that person that you know in your life who you go to the supermarket together, and by the time that you've left, she's found out the dirt on everyone there. She knows that the cashier's son has been accepted to Yale. She knows that the dry cleaner's wife has hurt her back in a car accident. She's got all the scoop on everybody. So this is the perfect person who's essentially your street team. So, engage Kathy, get her to be a co-captain, provide her with offline donation forms so she can walk around town collecting some checks and donations. When she goes in the bagel place, she could walk out with a $50 check. Or give her some posters for your team that you can download from our website and ask her to promote your team for the walk. She can get a crowd there like it's nobody's business. And then we've got Networking Nancy. Now, Nancy is all around town. Nancy has a LinkedIn profile with over 500 people following her. She is the president of the PTA. She is organizing a fundraiser at the church. She is part of the women's group for her business. So she knows a lot of people, but maybe a little overcommitted. But Nancy is the perfect person to engage on your team, whether she can attend in person or is a virtual walker and sort of just created her own page. Ask her to send an email or two on your behalf to her network, because even if she just helps in that small way, she can reach a lot of people. And as we all know, there's a lot of people who are impacted by lupus. So we know that Nancy's got to know a few people who have been impacted by the disease and would want to come on and support you for the walk. Then we've got Organize Oscar. I love Oscar. He's got a spreadsheet for everything. If you are making T-shirts, he knows everybody's size. He's written down every place where you can solicit, and he knows every single person on your team who can get a matching gift. Oscar also has found the perfect spot for your meeting place for your team. He's communicated out the time and the details, and he's ready to go. So Oscar's a great guy to have on your team. And then there's Tech Savvy Tamara. We just went over a lot of technical support that you can have for the walk. We have our mobile app. We can, use the Facebook app and set reminders. But some of these things may not be your strength or somebody else's on your team. So it's good to have Tamara helping out and supporting you with social media and helping some of your team members to get registered. The important thing to remember is supporters are all around you. Friends, family, coworkers, professional affiliations, local merchants. When we did this session earlier, somebody mentioned neighbors. What about your neighbors? Maybe some of them would want to come support your walk and join you. And those who can't walk with you are potential donors and volunteers, and that's really the most important thing to remember. Just because somebody can't come, they'll maybe make a donation, and even if it's $10 or $20, it all adds up. So we're going to put your network to work, and while you're getting busy on your next task, I'm going to open up the line here, and I'm going to invite Freya Tarapour, who is a team captain of the Lupus team, to talk a little bit with us about what she does for her team. So your assignment now is to start listing your possible co-captains, list 5 people who would join your team, 10 possible donors, write down your affiliations. Are you in a book club? Are you on a recreational kickball team? Where are the people in your world? And Freya, I am so happy that you are on the call. Do you want to say hi and talk a little bit about your team?
Hi, everyone. I'm Freya, and I am the team captain for Lupus, and this will be the 4th year that Lupus has taken on the walk to end lupus. So my team is really a true melting pot of the people from various aspects of my life. Most of the Lupus walk with me on walk day, but there are also many who are unable to walk, and them too, they're considered Lupus to me. So remember that when recruiting your team, a team has lots of parts, and it's important and thoughtful to recognize everyone who helps, whether it's behind the scenes or at the walk day itself. And super duper quick, I just want to share a couple examples of a few remarkable members I have who have participated in an alternate way. So things that you can remember when someone tells you, like, oh, hey, I can't be there. they have a previous engagement, or maybe they live in another state and they can't make it to your walk. So during my first walk year, my friend Steph, she had a baby and she moved from the tri-state area to North Carolina. She was unable to make the trip north for the walk, but she ended up setting up an afternoon for her and her new friends down there to walk with their children and support Lupus locally around her. It helped raise some local awareness, and she got a lot of donations through that. Another close friend of mine, Nicole, she couldn't make it to the walk last year due to some previous engagements, but she still ended up making her own page under the team, and she promoted Lupus through emails and social media. Lastly, Rachel, she works with children. She's a social worker and has work on Saturday mornings, so she was unable to make the walk because of her work engagements. But what she ended up doing, which I thought was really neat, was she set up a field trip for the kids to walk as a team. They made cute little T-shirts and helped spread awareness to a whole new group of people. So that's Lupus. It has a bunch of people, some walkers and some, I call them alternative walkers.
Well, I thank you, Freya. This is really amazing, and I'm going to ask you some more questions, but right now I'm going to try to join in. I think we have Jessica Maldonado and Stephanie Stewart. So, caution, ladies, I'm going to unmute you. So, Stephanie and Jessica, let me know if you are on the call.
Oh, hi. This is Stephanie. Hi. It's Jessica. I'm here.
Stephanie is from, she has a fabulous team in LA. It's the team Wonder Wandas. What a fabulous team name. So we are talking about teamwork. And I wonder if you would talk to us a little bit about what tools you found most useful to communicate about your team.
Well, okay. Actually, I do that through my job. Actually, I'm not there anymore, but they're amazing, and they have let me do fundraisers there through tapping parties, because I worked at a brewery restaurant called Gordon Biersch, and we have a ton of regulars, and we have a ton of people who are there just constantly all the time. And whenever they're tapping a new beer, they say, hey, do you want, the funds from this, just donations from the food and from the drinks and stuff, to go directly there. And it has worked like a charm, and it's literally about 2 hours, and it's done. And we usually get anywhere between $600 and I think $1,500 was how much I made last time, and it was in 2 hours. So
wow, that is fabulous. We are going to tap you for some more information, no pun intended, in our next session with fundraising too. So Jessica Maldonado, you're on the phone, and you have Team Jaywalkers NYC. And when you're working with your team, what process do you go through to recruit some of your team members and your donors?
Well, hi everybody, and thank you for having me. Pretty much my team started out with my family, because my biggest support is my husband and my son. So when I decided to do my first walk, this will be my 5th this year. So when I decided to do my first walk, it consisted of, my family and my siblings and just some really close friends that have always been by my side before I was diagnosed. So they were there with me for the first walk and continued to come with me the second walk. And every time they saw that we had fun, they kept coming, back for more. So, that was exciting. Then I did some team shirts for us just to build up the momentum. And when it came to fundraising, now my 5th year, I've done a Zoom.
Oh, Jessica, I think you're cutting out a little.
Can you hear me a little better?
Yes.
Okay. So this will be my 5th year doing not only the walk, but a Zumbathon. So it's pretty much Zumba for Lupus. I've been fortunate enough to know some wonderful instructors that pretty much donate their time. And, we set up a date, and the girls put together all the songs they like. And just from their following alone, whether they go to the same studio as them or the same, gym facility, whatever it is, their following will come. And it's been, pretty much repeat donators, people who want to come to the Zumbathon because we have so much fun. And that's how I make a majority that's how I make the majority of the donations right there.
Wow, that's great. And Freya, I wanted to get back to you. So, you've been doing your team for a while. How do you set your recruitment and fundraising goals, and how do you really communicate that to your team?
What I like to do is, I guess, firstly, to recruit my team, I go to everyone individually. I like to keep things personal. I think you mentioned that already. I think recruiting a team can be overwhelming, and if you started it by attacking it one person at a time and really telling them why you're asking them and what it would mean to you personally to help with the walk, I think attacking it that way is the easiest and most manageable way to do it. So, so really, if what I do is I reach out to the people who are close to me and the people who know how my life is and has been affected by lupus. And not only do they say yes, but they're really eager to be a part of something that could help my life. In regards to promoting the walk and keeping everyone involved, I use a Facebook group. I keep the same Facebook group, and I've had it, I think, since the first year I started. It's just a really easy way to keep track of your team members. You can make sure everyone is registered on that. You can ask for help or post different things on what you might need to help with the walk and your fundraising events. And it's convenient. There's like a little tab where you can have your events posted on there, and you could keep kind of everything separate and organized. In regards to, I think you asked about setting goals, each year I just try to exceed last year's. So I keep things manageable. I don't try to set goals that are going to be stressful or impossible for me and my team members to achieve. I think each year I've tried to exceed the last year's goal by $500. So far I do that and much more. But I try to keep things manageable, and I think that's the key.
Well, I think this is great advice, and I really love the idea of keeping that Facebook group going because you're keeping connected with your team members year-round. So, whether you're sharing a random photo or on a Throwback Thursday or just promoting some new event, and I'm going to switch it over to Nicole in a second, who's going to talk about some fundraisers, you're really keeping people engaged throughout the year.
Yeah, definitely.
Great. Well, this has been a great topic. We're going to move on to the next one, and then I'm going to unmute, Stephanie and Freya for our discussion about events, and I'm going to hand it over to Nicole.
Great. Well, those were some really great ideas. Thank you guys for sharing. So now we're on to hosting a fundraiser, and you see the word fun in fundraiser. So fundraising should be fun. It should not be stressful. Please don't stress out over the fundraising. You want to get creative. You want it to be exciting, and think about the things that you like to do and or things that your team likes to do, and get involved in and make those fundraisers. So here we have a list of some great fundraising ideas. We have simple fundraisers, things like a bake sale, a potluck dinner. You can do, I love this, team T-shirt decorating party. So, invite your team to come over and decorate, host a little dinner while you do it, charge them an entry fee, and, it turns into a great little fundraiser, and sell those shirts later, make enough to sell them to your friends and family and get them involved. You could have larger events. You just heard a couple of our team captains talking about a Zumba-thon. Those are fun, great ways to get involved. We heard about the tap party. We're going to hear a little bit more about that in just a second. Paint and sip. Those are huge right now. People love to do those. I see them all the time on social networks. These are also great ways to get people involved that you wouldn't normally see at maybe a walk, or maybe you wouldn't normally come to any other type of lupus event, or maybe they don't even know about lupus, but you've invited them to a Zumba-thon, and they like Zumba, and they're thinking, well, it's, a win-win. I'm going to get fit, and I'm going to help fundraise. So you're really hitting another audience while doing some great fundraising for yourself and your team. We have a lot of ideas, A to Z fundraising guide on our website, so you can check that out and get more fun ideas. But, keep it fun and make sure that your team is getting involved. We have some tips to help you plan your fundraiser. So the biggest thing is communication. I think we talked about that a little bit already. You can have an awesome party, but if you don't invite anybody, you're not going to get those donations and you're not going to have much fun. So you got to make sure that you're connecting with people, you're making flyers, you're sending out things via Facebook, social media, emails. However you need to invite people and get people excited to come, you do that. And then you want to decide on the type of fundraiser that you're going to have. Are you going to have a Zumba-thon? Are you going to have, a big pizza party? But then set a goal. What's your goal for that fundraiser, and how are you going to achieve that? And then we're going to look at logistics. So make sure you have a great date, a time, decorations, And I know all this can sound a little overwhelming, but you want to make sure that you're planning. So get a list together and start checking things off. And don't forget that if it is a team fundraiser, that your team members are helping you out. So, maybe you have a team member that's really good at, doing the balloon towers, and they can donate those for you and get those started. And another one that's really good at, taking the donations at the door. So get them all involved, have them there the day of, or if they can't be there the day of, have them help you in the planning process. And then you've had a great fundraiser, and you're ready to wrap it up. Make sure that you're thanking everybody that participated, those people that came and attended, your team members, anybody that made any donations. A little thank you can go a really long way. Post them on social media. Take pictures of the event. Let people know that you really appreciate the efforts that they put into your fundraiser. And, of course, your staff, your chapter staff or your walk staff is here if you need any help. With that, if you want us to help promote it, we have our fundraising pages. We have our Facebook pages as well. So we can also help you if it's something that's bigger. We can help you promote those as well. So we have a couple of our team captains that you've already met, and they're going to share a little bit about some of the fundraising ideas that they've had or things that they've done. But while we're doing that, I think we either have Stephanie or Jessica. Can you turn your radio down or mute it? Okay. Okay. So
we
while
should have
we're
Freya and Stephanie on the line.
Okay, Freya and Stephanie. Sorry about that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so while we're having this discussion and you're listening in, we also want you to write down for your task. Write down 3 easy and fun ways that you can think of to raise money. So, Stephanie, are you on the line?
Oh, is that Jessica on the line?
I'm here if you need me.
Okay, I think it's Stephanie with some background noise. Let me see.
Okay.
Should be Stephanie on there.
Is that better? Stephanie?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello?
Sorry. Okay, great. Now we can hear you. So, Stephanie, you had mentioned that you do tap parties, and you've had some really great success with those. So can you just kind of tell us a little bit about what you feel like the benefits of organizing a fundraiser are than just asking individuals for walk donations?
I mean, I think that it kind of goes back and forth with a few things because ultimately people like a return. They do. And I feel like if you make it something fun, something that they're already interested in, something that they're already giving money to, then they're more inclined. That and also beer helps. No, but no, I don't read it like that. But seriously, I mean, it's something that's fun. It's a fun environment, and they realize that it's for such a good cause. So they're still getting a return on it. They're getting the fact that, in a way, in a sense, they're kind of getting their entertainment. They know that they're going to get a new beer for their tapping party. They're going to try new food. they're going to get a new experience in there, and it's also educational because they're going to learn something new about lupus. I guarantee that. Make them listen.
That's great. Thank you so much for that. Freya.
Well, yeah.
So what was your fundraiser that you've had as opposed to, with your team, as opposed to just single donations? Can you give us a little information on what you did?
Yeah, definitely. I think mine's a little bit similar to the TAP fundraiser, but I also do like a bar night where I used to work at a bar as well, and what we would do is we would charge people a small donation fee to get into the bar, and what my boss would do is he would have us, for all the guests who paid the donation fee, they would all get happy hour prices for the whole night. And in addition to that, I also made some raffle baskets. I would sell the rubber lupus awareness bracelets. We do a 50-50 raffle, and I have made a makeshift photo booth, which I think you saw in the previous slide, where a lot of people love that because they post their pictures and make a little hashtag, and I have them hashtag the walk as well. So I think that's a cool way to spread awareness as well.
That's great. Freya, what is the best piece of advice that you'd give someone who wants to host a walk fundraiser?
So my advice to all you guys is just to use your resources. So, I used to work in a bar, so that made that easy for me. If you know someone who, works in a restaurant or a bar, use them. If you chat to the manager of your gym, every time you go in, ask them. Ask people you know and have regular contact with, because 9 out of 10 times they're going to be willing to host an event with you, and it'll be something where you don't have to pay additional money. They'll actually volunteer their time and space, which makes things a lot easier.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. So I think that we've mentioned it a little bit before. What is it that you like to do? What is it that you're interested in? What is your team interested in? Those can be simple fundraisers, and sometimes they're right under your nose and you don't even realize it. So, if you like to go to the bar, I think we found out that lots of people do like to go to the bars, and that beer helps. So, so these are things that both Freya and Stephanie, they were right in front of them, things that they did, they worked there. They things that they were in front of them every day that they turned into a fundraiser. So that's something that you need to look at, because oftentimes we look past those things, and it's right there in front of our face, and it's something that we're familiar with already, and that makes it a little bit easier, and it's fun. So that makes it a lot easier to bring people in. Thank you so much, Freya and Stephanie, for sharing your stories with us. We really appreciate it. All right, Monica, it looks like you've got a mission. Uh-oh, what happened to Monica?
Oh, here we go. Always those technical difficulties. I do have a mission. We put this as number 8, but it's really number 1. It's, the reason that we come out and walk. It's more than a fundraiser. It's more than a fitness event. It's really coming out to support the mission of the Lupus Foundation and really championing a disease that has been largely overlooked. We really envision a life free of lupus, and we have 3 disease-specific goals: reducing the time to diagnosis, ensuring people with lupus have an arsenal of safe and effective treatments, and expanding direct services and increased access to treatment and care. This is why we walk. This is why all of you walk. This is why you have personal stories, why you give your time, why you volunteer, and why you give your money. So, this is a rallying cry. And when we look at the Lupus Foundation, you're part of a national movement. And actually, we have international reach, so we could say it's a global movement. There's more than 230 chapters, regional offices, and support groups. And I know there are a lot of people on the phone tonight that are at one of our local chapters. They're out in Georgia, or they're, in the Midwest. And we all have this commonality of one goal, and that's to end lupus now. When you look at the reach of our website, 8.7 million annual visitors on lupus.org. That's really astounding. 43 million social media impressions. You look at $100 million generated and invested in lupus research and education. These are staggering numbers, and we're really leading the fight against lupus. We focus on two pillars, and they're equal in our minds, research and education. So when you look at our research program, we have a comprehensive approach. We really need to reach the people in power in the government to ensure that we have funding for a lupus cure. We work with the CDC. We work with the Department of Defense. We ensure that we have enough money to fund quality research. Then we look at research on a fast track for success. We want smarter research, faster progress. You look at some of the things that the Lupus Foundation has invested funds in. We look at cardiovascular disease in women with lupus, the disease in men versus women. We have an adult stem cell research program. These are exciting initiatives that we hope yield results for patients. And we remain the only lupus organization with a dedicated pediatric lupus research program. And this is really important. When you look at so many people who are diagnosed as children, the average age of diagnosis for lupus is between the ages of 15 and 44. So we really have to have a focus on research for our younger people living with the disease. And we need to fix what doesn't work well. We need to really look at the regulatory strategy. We're out there advocating for research every day as part of the Lupus Foundation of America's mission. And then, of course, there's education. If we don't reach the patients, the professionals, the public, and the policymakers, it doesn't really matter what else we do. And I'm going to give a plug here. We have some fabulous patient resources, but our Health Educator Network is really it is an incredible resource. If anybody across this country has, a question about lupus or, has a question about financial assistance, you can contact our health educator through our website and through our 800 number, and you can get a real answer from a professional. We also reach out to medical professionals. We have the Lupus Science and Medicine Medical Journal. We have, an MSAC that really oversees all that we do and when we educate the public. And, of course, we're always trying to give the best resources to professionals so they know the latest in the science on the disease. And the public, again, we need to reduce the time to diagnosis. So, we have to reach the public. We need to make sure that people know the signs and symptoms of lupus and they rally around this disease. And policymakers, as we mentioned before, advocacy is really critical to our mission, and we need to educate them about what a lupus diagnosis means. So when you are supporting our mission, you are supporting a great cause. So that's what our walk teams do. That's what you do when you fundraise. And I'm going to turn it over to Nicole to talk about some of our meet and greets.
Great. Thank you so much. So we want you to make sure that you're making the most out of your fundraising and walk experience. And I want you to take the opportunity to get engaged with all of our events that complement our walk and fundraising. So getting involved and getting engaged locally will help you in a few ways. So one, you're going to get to know others, people that are like you, people that are doing the same thing as you. You're going to get to share stories and ideas, which is great, especially if you're a new team captain. It's great to get involved because you can pair up or meet some veteran team captains that have been involved with the walk and the Lupus Foundation for several years. They can give you some ideas and help you out and be like a mentor to you through your fundraising process. And then you'll be able to build a network. It's great to have people to call and bounce things off of, or, when you see at another event to be able to, again, share more stories with. And then, of course, you'll make friends, and sometimes those friends turn into family. And we oftentimes hear that people really look forward to coming to some of the events and to the fundraising walk because they get to see people that they've met at other things, and it's like a reunion for them. So some of the ways that you can get engaged are through some of our other events. So we have our walk kickoff party, which is a great tool that we have that helps us launch the fundraising for the walk itself. So you'll check with your walk staff or manager to see when your kickoff party in your area will be for the walk. It's a great way to, again, get more ideas on how you can increase your fundraising. Lupus Learning and Living, this is our patient education series, and it's a great event where we have either a panel or one or two doctors that will help educate you about lupus, and they're really, really fantastic in the sense that they make it very interactive. They're willing to answer questions. They're very approachable and very, very informative. So I encourage, if you have not been to one of those, to look out for those in your community. Support groups, those are really important, and we have many successful support groups across the nation. And again, finding people that are lupus warriors where they can connect, friends and family too, attend the support groups. It's a really great program to get involved in. Our registration and team rallies, these are great, especially for the newbies that are learning about the registration process, maybe haven't registered yet. You might be able to register there or ask questions, maybe questions now about our new app. So this is a really good way to kind of get your team motivated and get them all registered and ready to go. Workplace presentations. I personally really like this because with the Lupus Foundation of America, when we go into a corporation to give a presentation, it's one thing for us to give the information, but if we can bring a volunteer or a lupus warrior with us to help us in that presentation, that really does make more of an impact because now we have somebody that's living it, that's been a part of it, that's been a part of the foundation. Maybe they're a part of a support group or they've been to the Lupus Learning and Living events. So now those corporations can see firsthand what they're getting involved with and who they're supporting. So it's a really fantastic way. So if you have the opportunity to get more involved, ask your staff or walk manager and let them know that you're interested in participating in that and helping them out. We love it. And then visit a local office. So if you're in the area and you're near one of your offices, get to know the people that are there, volunteer in the office, and get a little more involved there and see what it is that you can do and be a part of. So we encourage you to get engaged and to get involved in any way that you can, just to increase your knowledge and your network and help out with the building of your own personal team and network as well. I think, Monica, our next slide.
Great.
We are ready to have fun. We've made it to the end.
we are ready to have fun, and I know that the two kids pictured in this photo had a lot of fun. And this seems like a no-brainer, right? The walk should be fun, but you put so much time into planning and organizing your walk. You want to have a few tips for a successful walk day, and I can't stress this enough. Please, please, please pick a landmark as a meeting location for your team. No matter where you're walking, you may think, well, I can just coordinate on my phone, or, Susie will text me when she gets there. The site can be very loud. You might not have good cell service that day with so many people using their cell phones and uploading their great photos to Instagram. Pick a meeting location. Whenever possible, coordinate travel plans for your team. Maybe you can all carpool together and save on parking. You can all take the same subway and, meet at the subway station and grab a cup of coffee before the walk. That will make it easier. You won't have to run around all walk day trying to find your team members. And definitely communicate your meeting space and location to your team members, as well as the time. You want to communicate this out a couple times before the walk. People don't always read their emails. People don't always remember what you texted them, and 20 texts later, they've forgotten what time they're meeting at the walk. And I always say to arrive early. There's a lot of activity on walk day. You want to visit the tents. You want to be there for the kickoff ceremony, and the times may vary by walk location. In New York, we start our registration, check-in, tents, and DJ at 8:30 in the morning, and we walk at 10. Another walk may be a twilight walk. So make sure you have all of those details. and take so many photos. Not just because it's a fun day and you want to share them, but it's a great way to thank your team. Send out a team photo after the walk and say, hey, thanks to everybody who donated and came out to the walk. Here's a nice photo of us. Or, go on ink and have it printed on a postcard and write a handwritten note to all of your team members. Your photos will also come in handy next year. So when you start your team next year, you take that photo and you send it out to the people who couldn't come out and you say, hey, we missed you last year. Hope you're going to be in this photo this year. And plan a post-walk event. And that can be the walk day. So, for instance, in New York, there's a lot of people who go out to lunch after the walk or, have a barbecue at their house or go see a movie. There's other people where, in a couple weeks later, they'll bring in brownies or bagels at the office just to thank everybody for supporting the event. But you want to keep the momentum going and really make an experience of the day. It'll make it, so much more fun. And I'm actually going to bring in Jessica on this because I think she's got some tips about walk day. I know the jaywalkers are always in full force. And Jessica, do you want to talk a little bit about your walk day?
Sure. Okay. So walk day, we definitely find a meeting place, as you said, and we always plan ahead. But more importantly, we're either all dressed up crazy because one year my son decided, you guys had a great picture of it, to wear a purple mask, and he wrote Lupus Man on it, and he had on even a purple boa. So he just, we just had a great time, and that's what's most important about it, to surround yourself with family and friends. A lot of people, like you guys said, can't make it, but at least if, you wear your team shirt, or if someone wasn't able to get the shirt and they're able to, just wear purple, whatever it is, I just strongly feel that as long as you're surrounded, by good people who, not many will know what we're going through because, which I'm grateful for that because that means they're not dealing with what we're dealing with. But in the same turn, because they love us, because they're either, close family members or really good friends, they're willing to be there with you that day and support, your fundraising goal and, your efforts. And I think that the most important thing leading up to that day, because, we can have fun and sometimes it gets really emotional, seeing other teams and other people. And I think leading up to that day, the most important thing is, to do it with grace, gratitude, and a really good attitude. We have to go into this, thinking positive. And, I think that day will be really successful when you do that, when you, as you guys said, when you show the gratitude for whether it's a donation or just your team members being there, you make it personal for them because it's not only personal for us, and we can have a goal of whatever it is, $1,000, $1,500, whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, my mindset is that I'm not only doing it for myself, but I'm doing it for a lot of people who want to find a cure, who want to raise awareness. And when you make it personal, even on that day, from thanking each person individually, as you guys said on social media, once you get to that day, and everyone sees how, your team is united, your team is having a blast, and you're just making the best of the day. I think that's what's most important. But I have to say that with anything, if it's really not for the LFA, who shows so much support to us, whether it's the personal cards that we receive, because I'm sure many of you have received those cards, just saying thank you, just showing us support, giving us, that extra boost we need. Because sometimes it could take a toll on us. But and just your support alone, that makes, not only, the whole fundraising effort, but that day, it makes it, all worthwhile, especially seeing everyone come together. So it's really not so much about having just tips, it's just about having the right attitude, going into this, and I think we get really good results from that.
Well, Jessica, you have just said it so eloquently, and I think I think people are going to really appreciate your words, and I think this is such a good spot for us because we've actually come to the end of our power hour. So we will take some questions if people want to put them in the chat box, but we're so grateful to all of you for getting on the phone. And Nicole, I don't know sort of if you've got some ending words that you want to share.
I just want to thank everybody for taking the time out of their evening to spend with Monica and myself. And we hope that we were able to provide you with a couple nuggets to take away, and that you will use some of the information and have a super successful 2017, and that you will all enjoy the fundraising and the walk itself. And again, we appreciate you and your time and everything that you're doing to support the Lupus Foundation of America.
Yes, thank you. And thank you to Freya, Stephanie, and Jessica for sharing your thoughts. And, we'll keep the conversation going. Get on your local Facebook page for your walk in your area. There's walk groups. We can answer questions. Our contact information is here, but there's a lot of support. So go to walktoendlupusnow.org and find your local walk. Thank you to everybody, and I hope you have a great night.
Thank you. Have a great night, everybody.